Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of the Literacy Center of Expertise podcast, brought to you by TIES, the Immigrant Education Society, here in Calgary, Alberta. My name is Jeremy Wilson, and I'm the Link Literacy Center of Expertise assistant, as well as a Link literacy instructor here at TIES. I'm joined here today by several members of the Literacy Center, including Donna Clark, our lead here at the Literacy Center. Holding a Bachelor of Education from McGill University, Donna taught ESL for many years in Taiwan before beginning her journey in Link over 10 years ago. Donna was one of the early catalysts for development of a literacy program at TIES and was also instrumental in the creation of the TIES Reading Room tutoring program. She has taught all literacy levels and has given several presentations at ATESL on phonics and teaching literacy. Welcome, Donna.
Hi, happy to be here. Thank you.
Next, we have Jonna Chibano, who is the Link Program Manager here at TIES. Jonna has over 11 years of experience at TIES, during which she has filled a diverse number of roles, including volunteer, English language instructor, and PBLA lead. Jonna has taught all CLB levels and demonstrates a clear understanding of the CLB framework and its application in classroom planning. She has taught ESL with English programs for internationals in the USA and translation and interpretation at the Free International University of Moldova. Aside from her rich work experience, Jonna also has a solid educational background. She graduated from the Educational Department at the University of Calgary and acquired a master's degree in TESOL. Jonna also studied adult education at the University of South Carolina and received a Bachelor of Arts in English and French at Alesso University in Moldova. And I'm sure I mispronounced that, but I'm sure Jonna can correct me. Welcome, Jonna.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, for the nice introduction. We pronounce it Aleco Rousseau University.
Oh, okay, great. Much better than I would have been able to do it. So thank you. All right, and last but not least, we are also joined by Richard LeBlanc, the Director of Language and Childcare Programs here at TIES. Richard holds a Bachelor of History from the University of Calgary with a Latin American history and a minor in Spanish, a graduate TESOL diploma, and has completed the PBLA lead teachers training. Richard taught ESL for over a decade, first to international students at private language schools in Calgary, and then to immigrants and refugees in various levels of the LINK program for more than 8 years here at TIES. Along with Jana, he helped to implement PBLA at TIES and mentored classroom teachers for 4 years as a PBLA lead. In the winter of 2019, he transitioned into his current role of Director, Language and Childcare Programs at TIES after a short stint as the drop-in ESL Program Manager. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you, Jeremy. Happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for being here. And before we get into the center itself, I'd like for us to break down or define what we mean by literacy in the context of our program and our learners. Donna, I'll send this to you. Can you tell us, what is literacy? What does it mean in relation to our clients?
Okay, Jeremy, thanks. When I used to think of literacy, I used to think it just meant reading and writing. But in the link context, literacy refers to a literacy student is a student who has 8 years or less of formal education. For reasons such as age or family situation, uh, students who would benefit from a more supportive environment are placed in our literacy program. So these are students who they bring a wealth of cognitive abilities and life experiences and language abilities, but they do have some gaps in their learning that we need to address in a literacy program. So they may lack some learning strategies or some numeracy skills or some digital literacy. These are students who may not be literate in their own language, or their first language might not even have a written form. So we bring them into the classroom and address those gaps.
Awesome. That's a great explanation of a very complex topic, Donna. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, and Donna, I also wanted to ask you, because when we're talking about literacy, a lot of people have a misconception that literacy is only the foundational level. And here at TIES, we have foundation as well as 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And so there's a little bit of a misconception in terms of, what foundation actually means. Would you be able to give us a little bit of insight into that?
Sure, Jeremy. So, students who enter into a foundation level literacy program may come in not even knowing the alphabet, the Roman alphabet. It may be completely foreign to them. They may not have written in their own language as well, so they might not know how to hold a pencil. They have difficulty with orientation on a page, so reading from left to right, right to left, up to down. All of these are foreign concepts for them. They may not be able to sit for a long time. They require routine, a sense of stability and security. They have to be given the opportunity to work at their own pace, take unscheduled breaks, and help them maintain a sense of community by allowing them to work collaboratively.
Yeah, fantastic, Donna. As someone who's taught foundation for a short time, I can definitely agree on a lot of that for sure. This next question I'd like to put towards you, Jana. Could you tell me what is the mission and purpose of the Literacy Center of Expertise, and why is it important?
Well, the mission of the Literacy Center of Expertise is to be a collaborative hub and information center supporting the ESL literacy service providers in Calgary, Alberta. Through collaboration, we serve students and teachers by sharing research based best practices, resulting in a consistent and client centered approach to literacy. Why we wanted to start the Center of Expertise is because we hope we will provide support to all the literacy community in Calgary and highlight leaders in the field. We will offer training for the literacy instructors that are new to the field. We hope that this will be a platform for sharing best practices and for sharing resources. And we also hope to organize more professional development opportunities for the most popular topics in literacy.
Oh, that's fantastic. Jana, I wanted to forward this to you as well. Could you give us a little bit of the background? When did the Literacy Center of Expertise start, and who is the funder?
The Literacy Center of Expertise was launched on April 1st, 2020, and it the founder of the center is the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada (IRCC). So it's funded by the federal government of Canada.
Thank you, Jana. We are definitely fortunate to have the support of our funder, IRCC, for this project, and we thank them so much. All right, Richard, and I'd like to direct this question towards you. Could you tell us a little bit about the process for getting the Literacy Center of Expertise going? What was kind of the development process for that?
Yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. So back in December, the beginning of December 5th, actually, 2019, within the context of the resuming negotiations CFP 2019 sector call with IRCC, it was noted there was this little obscure reference. It was noted that IRCC wanted to have a quote literacy center of expertise in every major urban center. So, that was in the context of a much larger conversation. And when I heard that, it just kind of piqued my interest. I wanted to know what is this literacy center of expertise? What does it entail? I don't think we have one in Calgary. And if there's not one in Calgary, what could ties potentially be considered for that? So, seeing that short phrase within the presentation was the catalyst sort of for starting the wheels turning for this initiative. So it began with some internal dialogues within ties with our CEO, Dr. Sally Zhao, as well as Jana, our link manager, and of course Donna, who's now the Literacy Center of Expertise lead, as we know. And so it actually started kind of as this little dream. What would that look like? Then what happened was we put together a rationale to present to our federal funder, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC, as John has already mentioned, as to why ties would be an excellent consideration for being designated as the Literacy Center of Expertise in Calgary. So within that rationale, we mentioned our experience. We talked about how we have been successfully operating a 5-level full-time link literacy program, including foundations to CLB4L, for I believe it's the last 4 years at our Ties Whitehorn location. We mentioned supplemental training. So, for example, our literacy team, they understand the fact that TESOL training does not provide guidance specifically for teaching students with limited formal education. And Donna and Jeremy, you certainly know that. And those of us who have had TESOL training and have been in the classroom, I understand that. So many of the literacy instructors, therefore, they have completed the orientation to Canadian language benchmarks, ESL for adult literacy learners, online training through the Center for Canadian Language Benchmarks. As well, both you and Jeremy, of course, have recently completed the highly commended Teaching EAL Literacy Learners, TELS, teacher training through the Immigrant Services Association of Nova Scotia. So, we have that educational component that our instructors and the Literacy Center of Expertise staff has under their belts specific to ESL literacy. Also, we referenced in our rationale to IRCC additional literacy programming. So we've built and run a successful reading room program that supports LINK clients. This is funded by Calgary Learns and employs 2 literacy experts who have specialized knowledge about the best practices to help literacy students in the challenges that they face, and facilitate the designing of custom literacy lessons within the context of 45-minute tutorial sessions. We also have some programming outside of LINK that are catered towards literacy students to give those students additional skills outside of English language skills. So, for example, we run a computer access for literacy learners or CALL program funded by Calgary Learns. So students get an opportunity to enhance their digital literacy skills, which of course is one of the 9 essential skills for the workplace. We also have a literacy and basic English program that has been running for several years, and it's catered to students who have foundational literacy needs, but they're citizens, so they don't qualify for the LINK program. Also, there's connections that we are seeking to build. So we've tried to make connections, and we are making connections to other newcomer serving agencies in Alberta and beyond that have the in-house ESL literacy expertise that we'd love to tap into. So, we recognize that we do not have everything figured out, at this point pertaining to ESL literacy. And so we've tried to connect and build these, these connections with others to glean from their knowledge and best practices. So, for example, this would include the Immigrant Services Association of Nova Scotia, or ISANS, the Edmonton Catholic School District, LINK program. So they're the Literacy Center of Expertise in that city, and also the Saskatoon Open Door Society, or SODS. And we've also reached out to other service providers offering ESL literacy programs in Calgary. And so then from there, we submitted the rationale to IRCC and proposed the Literacy Center as an indirect pilot project for TIES.
Thank you, Richard. That's a very in-depth explanation of obviously the complex process, and this was not a short-term, decision. It was something that took a lot of planning and foresight. So thank you. And I just want to say, as a literacy teacher, I think it's sorely needed as well. One of the biggest problems or challenges teaching literacy is that having access to not only best practices and curriculum and all these things. So it's really, really really hopeful and exciting for the future to be able to have some support in those areas. Richard, I'd like to ask you this as well. Have you reached out to other SPOs or service providers to see what needs and wants exist regarding literacy instruction?
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. So you touched on that a little bit, but absolutely, we have reached out to every LINK provider in the city to conduct a somewhat informal ESL literacy needs assessment and determine what kind of ESL literacy, what kind of help ESL literacy service providers may be looking for. So we got quite a positive response from most everyone, the majority of everyone that we contacted. So based on this literacy SPO needs assessment, I would say the vast majority of SPOs asked for some sort of on-site teacher training. Therefore, we've in listening to this, we can provide, we're determined to provide on-site teacher training tailored to specific needs of each SPO. We'd like to provide general workshops for teaching literacy for PD days. We want to provide mentoring and training for new teachers, demos, co-teaching, observations of new teachers. We can provide recommendations for existing training programs or courses. Also, Donna is going to be offering office hours and support via email to answer questions. We're happy to give advice on structuring literacy programs and split classes. That's a big one with literacy and regular stream CLB students. I've heard, some challenges with that over and over again from different organizations. We want to be able to facilitate connection to literacy experts in Calgary and beyond. So some of our other SPO partners in Calgary that are offering literacy programs, they have their own in-house expertise, and we would love to be able to, tap into that expertise for, future blog posts or even future podcasts like we're doing today as well. And also we want to be able to provide, presentations to students on training programs after, they finish Link Literacy for employability as well. So that's kind of the scope of the menu of, services and help that we would like to provide for the SPOs who we want to collaborate with in Calgary.
Thank you, Richard. That's fantastic. It really runs the gamut in terms of, meeting a lot of the needs that are out there. And I think especially with the connection to literacy experts in Calgary and, throughout the country is really, really exciting as an instructor. Because there's so many great minds out there. Even in Calgary with Bow Valley College and all the great places we have here, it's really, really exciting to start to build those connections and be able to utilize a lot of the talent that's out there. Donna, I forward this to you. In regards to resources for teaching literacy, how will the Literacy Center of Expertise collect and share this information?
Thanks, Jeremy. There's a number of different ways that we hope to disseminate this information, and one way is by going to schools, as Richard mentioned, and sharing and having literacy circles. But we're also going to be launching our website very soon, and we hope to have a strong social media presence. So on our website, we're going to build a resource sharing bank where we'll share literacy appropriate modules that comply with PBLA. We hope to disseminate information on existing resources and curriculum that is suitable for literacy learners through our website as well and our Facebook page, and through, as Richard said, these podcasts and blogs. So, what we're really hoping to do in the Literacy Center of Expertise is honor the students and their needs, and honor the teachers and their needs, and honor the administrators and their needs as well. So one other thing we'll be working on is creating a phonics program tailored to the varying needs of the literacy students as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Donna. And Jonna, I'd like to ask you, in addition to the resource bank mentioned, what other initiatives will the center focus on?
Okay, so in addition to the resource bank, so what we have discovered when research was conducted, and as Richard already mentioned, many schools have indicated the same. So we are thinking of piloting and testing new approaches for literacy classes. So we also hoping to spread the information through a variety of platforms, and that also will highlight the talent that exists in Calgary and beyond the city. So are we going to do this? So we are planning to do this by acting as the information hub for the Literacy Center. We are hoping to create a podcast and a blog highlighting common challenges in a literacy classroom and local experts in the literacy field. We created a dedicated social media presence with a website, Facebook, etc. We will do this by creating a bi-monthly newsletter detailing upcoming literacy professional development opportunities. new resources, and other information of interest. We were even thinking of organizing a quarterly meeting with other service providers in Calgary and to share our experiences, get feedback, and determine what our next steps would be. And we are even dreaming as so big as to organize a Western Canadian Literacy Conference. That's in the plan.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Jana. That sounds like a lot of great initiatives that'll be really, really helpful for us instructors and for organizations as well. Um, and I know, Richard, you did briefly mention this earlier, but could you tell us, does the Literacy Center of Expertise have any partners that they're currently working with?
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. So, if I can just publicly say thank you to IRCC again for their support that they've given us for this initiative. So, with that support, we are certainly committed to collaborate with other SPOs in Calgary in order to facilitate a consistent approach to literacy for Calgary SPOs. And we certainly want to be a strong source of professional guidance for language providers delivering literacy classes. So that being the case, several link providers in Calgary are excited and open to collaborate with us for this initiative, including the Center for Newcomers, Agape Language Center, Columbia College, Equilibrium, the YMCA, and the YWCA, just to name a few. So please, if you're listening to this podcast and you'd like to collaborate with us, please reach out to us. We're always looking for new partners to collaborate with and also to learn from as well. So again, going back to what I said earlier, we certainly don't want to sound like we have it all together. We want to collaboratively work together for this Literacy Center of Expertise with partners so that we can work together to provide the best help that's available for literacy instructors and programs and admin personnel within those programs as well.
Well, thank you, Richard. It's such an exciting time to be involved in literacy with all this coming together. All right, and I have one final question for all of our participants here today, and this is something that I think is really important when it comes to being involved in literacy because it's such an interesting and challenging avenue to get into. I wanted to ask you all the same question, and Donna, I'll begin with you. Why do you do what you do?
I've been asked that a number of times, Jeremy. I started working at TIES in 2009, and the first class I taught was a CLB1 class. There was no designation for literacy that I was aware of at that time. So I had students who had very limited formal education in a class together with students who had university education. And this was also a time when students were maxing out at 1,200 hours. So after that, they didn't have access to link classes anymore. So I had students in my class who came in, as we said, typical literacy students, not knowing the alphabet, not knowing how to write their name or hold a pencil or organize a notebook. And I was trying to teach them in the same way that I was teaching my university educated students, and something wasn't working, and I really thought it was my fault. I had these beautiful brilliant students who just weren't succeeding in my class. So that's when I started researching and learning as much as I can and asking as many questions and bugging my managers to start a program. But it's students like Fatima. It's students who came over from Pakistan with her 7 children as a widow, never having attended school, and sitting in my classroom and not experiencing the success she needed, that she so badly craved as a new Canadian. So it was then that I decided that I needed to do more to help these students achieve the best that they could, and it's for all of them, and it's honestly the most rewarding job anyone could ask for. So here I am today, super happy and excited now to proceed with what we're doing in the Literacy Center of Expertise.
Oh, that's fantastic, Donna. I don't think anyone could have put it more eloquently. And as someone who's taught literacy as well, obviously I don't have the length of experience that you have, but I can say that I can see a lot of those things in my students as
You're
well. And
most
it's that
welcome.
was great. Thank you, Donna. And Shauna, how about you? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I've been working at Thais since 2008, and I've seen many students, and I've seen how their lives have changed and how their life have evolved and become better. And sometimes I get emails back from them saying, "Hey, teacher, thank you very much. Now I study at Saito. Thank you. You encouraged me, and now I'm at Bow Valley." And all these things I think have always inspired me. So I do what I do because my work matters. We touch lives, we contribute to people's future, we guide, we offer, we advise, we simply just listen. We are there when maybe no one else is. We are with students, friends, parents, and sometimes brothers and sisters. We want to be everything for them, and their lives matter to us. I love working at Ties because all together we touch so many lives and we make a difference. So I'm really hoping that the Center of Expertise will help not only our clients, but also our teachers and the teachers in the Calgary community and maybe even beyond Calgary. So I have a lot of hopes for the center and I wish the center the best.
Oh, that's wonderful, Shauna. Thank you so much. We're very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Um, and lastly, Richard, why do you do what you do?
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. So I'm gonna kind of give you the 10,000 foot view, the macro view, first of all,
Of course.
and then I'm kind of I'd like to zero in on just motives for the Literacy Center of Expertise. So, yeah, the 10,000 foot view, Jeremy, is that I have always loved learning about diverse places in the world, diverse cultures, various traditions of people groups from around the globe. I loved maps, atlases, and National Geographic specials about these topics as a child, and I was always excited to meet children from other cultures and make friends with them and learn from them. Having been at Ties for the last decade, I've had just such a unique privilege and the opportunity to teach and but also learn from people from all corners of the world. For example, I had a North Korean student, before, which is almost unheard of. And these new Canadians, they're precious, right? I think we can all agree. And I'm happy to try and contribute in some small way to their successful settlement into Canadian culture and society. Now, if I want to apply this question specifically to the Literacy Center of Expertise, I have this, I often, or even sometimes I think back to a student that I previously taught. I was still a link instructor with TIES. And this student, she stayed in my CLB3 class for 2 full years when we still had 3 month full-time semesters. So that means she was in my class for 8 full semesters until she was finally able to move beyond. She had like an English language learning plateau that she seemed to be unable to move beyond. Um, and she became very frustrated at her lack of progress. And I was frustrated at my lack of ability to help her. So, knowing the little of what I know now, I realized that what I did not know at the time was that she fit many of the descriptions of a literacy student, including a limited number of years of formal education. I think she stopped studying in grade 3 in her home country. Of course, she also had experienced a tremendous amount of trauma in her family, which likely caused impediments to her ability to learn as well. But I just wonder, had I been able to recognize that she was a literacy student, and maybe similar, Donna, to what, before you did your studying and diving into how to help these kinds of students, had I been able to recognize that she was a literacy student, maybe she would have been able to get the additional support that she needed, as a literacy student. So and then I wonder if a lot of her frustration would have been alleviated, and she would have been given a much better opportunity to succeed in my class. So I now think, and based on some of the feedback that I've heard from other service providers, there are likely several instructors who currently may have literacy learners in the regular CLB stream classes in the city because, for example, maybe the program doesn't have a dedicated link literacy stream or for other reasons. And, they may be frustrated just like I was with this student. They are unsure how to help clients who have gaps in their formal education, clients who make slow or erratic progress, and who require a considerable amount of support from the instructor because they are actually literacy clients who are not getting the help they need. So, we want to come alongside those instructors and leverage our in-house expertise and ESL literacy expertise of others in Calgary and beyond to equip these kinds of instructors to facilitate the best support and learning environment possible for these kinds of clients.
Well, that's fantastic, Richard. I think every literacy teacher goes through that phase, either when they first start teaching literacy, where they realize that they're kind of uh, in over their head, so to speak. Maybe not that's the best way to put it, but realizing that they don't really know exactly best how to help the clients, and that can be, as a teacher and as an instructor, I think that can be really frustrating because especially when if you've been doing it a while. I know for myself, getting into, having taught ESL for about 8 years, and before I got into literacy, it was a whole other ballgame, so to speak. There was all these skills that I didn't possess it as an instructor, and that I'm still developing. And so I think that there's many other teachers feeling that way, and that's where my excitement about the literacy center comes from. Being able to help us help our learners, to the best of our ability, and help them get what they need. So I would like to thank you, Donna, Jana, and Richard, for sharing your stories with us and telling us the mission, goals, and initiatives of the Literacy Center of Expertise, which I am so excited and privileged to be a part of. Thank you for sharing your stories about being instructors, about how you got into this, and why you do what you do. Um, Anyone out there listening, if you are interested in sharing your expertise about all things literacy with us or joining us as a podcast guest, please contact us at www.immigrant-education.ca/literacy center/contact. And we would love to talk with you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will be back with our next episode in the near future. Take care.